my name's Ray Lamont. I am the Executive Director of Ratanak International. I come with a background with a Master's in Slavery and Liberation from University of Nottingham. I have my Anti-Human Trafficking certificate from the University of Vanguard University. And then I have over 20 years of experience doing human trafficking and exploitation response work, not only just supporting individuals with lived experience, but advocacy, prevention, protection, policy work. I'm not only here in Canada, but my work, I've done it globally. So Greece, the Caribbean, Europe, all over the place. And Ratanak, what do we do? Awesome question. Do you have 2 hours? Just to kind of sum it up, we've been around for 35 years. We are based in Cambodia. Our international headquarters is in Vancouver. And the whole heart of what we do, everything that we put our focus into is ending slavery, human trafficking, and exploitation in Cambodia. So for us, that looks like coming alongside Cambodians with lived experience and supporting them as they rebuild their lives with support systems, working with the government and advocacy, and really working to disrupt and change structures and systems that perpetuates this injustice. Being engaged in prevention work, so being all over the country in rural villages and really identifying individuals, families, and communities in order to have prevention and awareness education done, but also to work on job and economic empowerment so that we take away that vulnerability that really drives people to be approached to be trafficked in the first place. Speaking specifically for Cambodia, we've been in a very honored and privileged position to work with the Cambodian government and to sit in spaces with them to really address systems and structures that would keep Cambodians in vulnerable positions. And so we really want to support and see them strengthen. So we've been working on things like identification of individuals who are being exploited and trafficked. What does that look like to identify? How do we make that something that happens on a national level? We've been able to work with the Cambodian government on policies and procedures and guidelines around repatriation by air, and that has now become a national standard. And we're working with the government for guidelines on how to repatriate and come back by land. In working in those spaces, I think probably the best example I can give is in 2015, we were invited to the table to be subject experts by different countries that surround Cambodia and to create bilateral agreements so that when Cambodians are in these other countries and they're being trafficked and their paperwork has been taken away from them and they can't travel, they can't be identified, that we have this bilateral agreement that would keep them, it would keep them in this situation of trafficking, but now we're able to bring them back. And so it's things like that. That's one side of it. But then I think the other side, when we're talking about systems and structures, it's things like poverty and gender inequality. It's things like lack of consistent access to education and employment. And so in the work that we do as Ratanak, we work in these spaces and we work with individuals and families and communities, not only in prevention of that, but also as they come back and rebuild their lives. We're right there journeying with them. That started in 1989 when our founder, Brian McConaughey, was taking some time off. He was traveling in Southeast Asia. He came to the Thai-Cambodian border, saw the refugee camps there, saw after, the genocide with the Khmer Rouge, I still saw the impact of that happening and how that was impacting Cambodians. He also met a child named Ratanak who was sick at that time and wasn't able to get access to the medical supplies, the medicine that she needed. And that deeply impacted our founder's heart. And so he went home and he was going to try to smuggle in some medicine. It became a lot of medicine, like 9 tons of medicine that he was able to bring into the country to help Cambodians. And that was the start of Ratanak International. And we have grown from there. Why Cambodia? Because of our founder, but why not Cambodia? Cambodian people are some of the most beautifulest people you'll ever meet, so kind, so generous, who have walked through a lot in their history. And it's an honor and privilege to come alongside, to support, to journey, to encourage, to love, to bless as they exit situations of human trafficking. Seeing people, Cambodians, exit from situations of slavery, human trafficking, and exploitation, and watching as they rebuild their lives, as we journey alongside them and support them in that process, to see them on their healing journey and to see the resilience, the perseverance, the determination, just the kindness, everything that makes Cambodia, to see those situations happen. And for us at Ratanak International, and I'm talking about it later on tonight, but these are not things that are, one-offs for us. They're not things that happen every now and then. We see this happening every day, over and over again. Cambodians with lived experience stepping into freedom and embracing that. And we get to be a part of that journey. That's incredible. So I think in Cambodia, where I see it succeeding is, I go back to the work that we're doing as an organization. We're able to work with the government to really challenge and disrupt these structures and systems, to come and sit in a space together and to collaborate. And then what comes out of that collaborations is policies and procedures and guidelines and processes that become the national standard. And it's amazing because it's not only helping people right now, but it's going to impact generations to come. And so I think that is incredible. I think it's also incredible when you're able to sit in a space and do prevention work. We don't want anybody to ever enter into a situation of slavery, human trafficking, or exploitation. And so being able to go to villages and to work with village leaders and district leaders and commune leaders for this whole purpose of prevention work, that's incredible in Cambodia. I think where I see gaps, and I'm going to maybe make this more international because I see it everywhere, is we're always looking for more support services to come alongside and help people with lived experience. So whether that's housing, whether that's counseling, whether that's whatever it is, there's always a need for it in any country that you're in. And so I would say that's a gap globally. Oh, I love that question. What a great question. There's a lot of different ways. I mean, first off, learn more about our organization and our work. Come to our website at ratanak.org and then share it with somebody else. Financially, if you want to give to us financially, you can go to our webpage again, ratanak.org, and make a donation there. I think the other thing is we put on a lot of events, and it's always great when we have people come to those events because it's about that presence, it's about that learning, it's about that community, it's about standing shoulder to shoulder with people who care deeply about people being free and being in that space with one another and then doing something together. So I would say also that as well.